Alrighty, so today we are talking about Take a Hint, Dani Brown by Talia Hibbert. Alright. This book is a part of a series which includes Take a Hint, Dani Brown, but also includes Get a Life, Chloe Brown. So if you haven't read Get a Life, Chloe Brown, I would suggest you do that first. You don't necessarily have to read the books in sequence, but it does give you some sort of a backstory, and so I would start there. So once you finish Get a Life, Chloe Brown, then you can read Take a Hint, Dani Brown. In this book, it is a rom-com, so it follows the life of Dani Brown, who is a PhD student. She ends up in a fake relationship with the university security guard, and of course feelings start to form and they end up testing it. So what I really liked about this book is that Dani Brown is me in a novel form. Like, I'm working on my PhD, I avoid relationships, I am everything that she is. And so there is an excellent quote in this book that really resonated with me, because I do have that self-deprecating idea about myself when it comes to relationships, and Talia Hibbert sums it up perfectly. She says, "I don't have the necessary qualities to make a good girlfriend." She made air quotes around the words, rolling her eyes as if that would hide the vulnerable edge to her voice. "I'm too word focused. I don't say the right things or remember romantic little anniversaries. I find excessive affection obnoxious, and I don't enjoy putting other people's priorities before my career and my family. These facts tend to disappoint prospective partners, and I'm too busy to deal with someone else's disappointment or the punishment that comes along with it, so I avoid the dynamic altogether." And that's me. I stray away from all of it. And I mean, that's a good or bad thing. Who knows? Maybe I need to end up in a fake relationship to end up in a real relationship. I don't know. This book has all the makings of a typical rom-com, but it's not as corny as typical rom-coms, because it's a play on the idea of a relationship initially that ends up being leading into a real relationship. The author does talk about some triggering aspects such as anxiety and depression, and some things that could possibly resonate with some viewers when losing family members and things like that. So there is a trigger warning for this book, and in the beginning of the book, the author suggests, or rather hopes, that she touches on it correctly. So how they end up in the relationship, you'll find out when you read the book, but I like the key takeaway from this novel is that a key part of success is remembering to chase joy. And I think that has been a recurring theme being in this pandemic, trying to finish school, trying to find a new job, trying to find a new house, trying to find all these things. I'm constantly looking for the next thing to validate who I am, but in the present, I'm still chasing joy. And so I've started crocheting. I've started to, do my hair more often. I've started to play around in makeup. I'm finding small things, to celebrate that bring me happiness. Reading also being one of them on my old school iPad. But yeah, so this one is very short because the story is very short, and there's not such super depth to the story. It's a quick read, it is an enjoyable read. I'm excited to see what's next for the next sister. In the back of this book, you do get a small snippet of the next book, which I will read that one too, because I've now started the series and I'm all in for the Brown sisters. And so I am eager to see what's next for this series. When reading rom-coms, I tend to always envision the people being Black, no matter what the descriptors are, and the same applies for this book. However, I did like that there was multicultural interracial relations. So one character being black, one character being Pakistani, I think, or South Indian of some sort. And so I liked that there were certain nuances that you need to know about the Indian culture, Pakistani culture, in order for you to grasp some of, you know, the sentiments in the book. I think the Zafir, I hope I'm saying that right. I think his character is so spectacular. He really is great, and that greatness comes from his own self-reflection and like really, you know, doing the things necessary to heal himself. I think he would be the awesome partner, and I hope that they stay together. I can appreciate that the author of this book displays the women's vulnerability without seeming weak, but also provides them with strong partners so that they don't have to overcompensate for their weaknesses. And you see that in Get a Life, Chloe Brown, with her and Redford. You see that here with Dani and Zaf, and I'm hoping that whichever path the third sister goes in, that still applies, because vulnerability is a hard topic to deal with, but nobody ever wants to appear vulnerable and then it be used as a weakness, you know? So I appreciate that. If you're not following Candace with the K Reads, you should, because I post the books that I've read there and currently reading. And so you can also subscribe to this channel because more book reviews will be coming. Thank you all for watching.